If I had to buy stock in any team that missed the playoffs this year, and I'm saying this with a straight face, and you all know I'm right, the Detroit Lions.
The Lions were one of the NFL's most improved teams in 2022. After getting off to a 1-6 start, the Lions finished up this season 8-2 to finish up with a 9-8 record. The Detroit Lions shocked the football world this season, but deep down we all love a good underdog story. And how this Lions team went from being the NFL's biggest underdog to being the favorite to win the NFC North is a great story. But this whole team is full of great stories, and one in particular being Jared Goff. The Lions' success on offense and as a team began and ended with Goff, and Jared Goff delivered by playing some of his best football. He finished up this season with 4,438 yards, which was 6th in the NFL, 29 touchdowns, which would have been tied for 5th in the NFL, and just 7 interceptions, which was tied for 8th fewest in the NFL, all while posting a career high in QBR with 61.1, which was also top 5 in the NFL. So Goff was top 10 in every major statistical stat for a quarterback. Perhaps the best part about his season was how well Goff protected the football. As this Lions team heated up towards the end of the season, Goff finished the final 9 games with 15 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. But Jared Goff can't take all the credit for his amazing season. It's also the positions that Coach Dan Campbell and offensive coordinator Ben Johnson put him in. Like here on this play action, typically when teams run play action, they only have 2 receivers run this levels concept. One receiver being the hot read, which is right in front of him, and the other receiver being 10 yards downfield in case there's potential for a bigger gain. But not many teams are having a delayed third option poke free, and that's why this play completely fools the Bills because coaches don't usually do this. Now rather the pass sets up the run, or the run sets up the pass, the Lions had the equation figured out this year, as their running game just missed the top 10, coming in at number 11, rushing for 128 yards per game. At the beginning of the season, the Lions had envisioned a lightning and thunder kind of duo coming out of their backfield, but with injuries slowing DeAndre Swift down for the 2nd straight season, momentum quickly started to drop. While momentum was quickly gaining for Jamal Williams, and it quickly became less lightning and more thunder. Jamal Williams went on to be this team's clear-cut RB1, as he went on to finish this season with 262 carries, 1,066 yards, which was 11th in the NFL, and a franchise record 17 touchdowns, which were 4 more than any other running back this season, while also finishing this year with 6 multi-touchdown games, which is the most in the NFL and most in Lions team history. Although DeAndre Swift didn't finish the season with his ideal year, there were flashes of lightning throughout the season. Swift finished the season averaging 5.5 yards per attempt on 99 carries and 542 yards with 5 touchdowns. But Swift was able to showcase his versatility by catching 48 passes out of the backfield and adding 3 touchdowns that way, and being on the end of some pretty creative trick plays as well from the Detroit Lions. One good running back is already enough for a defense to have to worry about, but 2 good running backs? Now that's just 60 minutes of long football for the opposing team's defense. To me, this was the team's biggest strength, was getting behind that big old line and letting your running backs do the rest. For instance, on this Jamal Williams run, it's a great read, but the scheme pretty much makes it room service for Jamal Williams, and he just has to pick up the first down. There's a lot to break down here, but when we're finished, you'll understand the true art of this play. They start with an extra lineman almost lined up in the backfield, and as they send him in motion, they hike the ball once he passes Jared Goff's butt, which essentially turns him into a pulling guard while simultaneously pulling the actual guard as well. The fullback going opposite of the play call actually holds 2 commander defenders, setting up a perfect 3-on-3 to the strong side. Jamal Williams is able to pick up 15 yards before he was even touched. But in order to hang around in today's NFL, you must check all boxes offensively. In the last box that needs to be checked are these highly talented, but rarely talked about Detroit Lions receivers. Of course, when we talk about this receiver group, it begins and ends with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown finished this season with 106 receptions, 1,161 yards, and 6 touchdowns this year. He was the leading receiver in the league's 8th ranked passing offense and Goff's #1 option, finishing the season with 146 targets, which was 76 more than anyone else. But a play like this describes even more what I mean. Anytime your quarterback enters scramble mode and is looking for an outlet and he's willing to loft up a 50-50 ball to you, you've officially become the #1 option, especially when those plays can result in touchdowns as well. With the year that St. Brown just put together, there's talk around the NFL that he's a top 10 receiver. And I mean, by looking at the film, it seems like he has all the makings to be one. My biggest point of emphasis on St. Brown is his dynamic playmaking ability. All he needs is the ball in his hands and he'll take care of the rest. Rather it's jet sweeps or quick drag routes that'll give him space to operate, or giving him chances downfield to make plays, Amon-Ra St. Brown can do it all. I mean, look at his numbers. These are his rankings among other receivers who also had 90 targets this season. A reason his numbers are so good is because he is so hard to maintain. Take this play for example. As the Lions motion out Khalif Raymond, St. Brown now has the one-on-one on the backside of this play. And as he takes the outside release to really sell this fly route, he slants it back inside and has the defensive back lost in the sauce, just wishing for a drop. Now while Amon-Ra St. Brown was this team's best receiver, the rest of the receiving corps as a whole all played a very solid supporting cast. As Khalif Raymond, DJ Chark, and Josh Reynolds all combined for 115 receptions, 1,597 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Not too bad, and with the constant pressure St. Brown was adding, it kept these DBs on their heels at all times. This was a banner year for the Detroit Lions, and making the massive jump from winning only 3 games last year to 9 this year is very impressive. I believe this is only the beginning for this team. Now I'm aware that this roster looks completely different than the guys I just broke down, but with what the Lions showcased on that field this past season, I couldn't let it go untouched. If you enjoyed this video, comment part 2 and I'll drop an updated video with offseason and draft moves involved. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, you may enjoy this video over here, which is all about a team who's dreaming about having a turnaround season like the one the Lions just completed. Peace.